This flipped classroom video is about installing a slab door. When we bought our house, it's a fixer-upper, and this door was off the hinges. And I've been going through the house remodeling and changing out all the doors, but this door was not high on the list for being changed until about 2 weeks ago. This vicious beast is Sparky, and Sparky started chewing shoes about 2 weeks ago. So you definitely need to get a door on that closet to prevent any more damage to shoes. Here is our brand new 6-panel hollow core door slab. Notice that it's been drilled out for our doorknob. And if you're doing a solid door, the process that I'm going to show you is exactly the same. Before we get started, let's talk about the parts of the door. The part or the edge closest to the doorknob is called the strike side. The opposite is called the butt or the hinge side. The hinges are going to go on the opposite side from the doorknob, never on the same side, of course. If you have the old door slab, this job is very easy because all I can do, or all I have to do really, is just make an exact replica of this door slab. If you can stand the door on an edge, it makes this job go a lot easier. And so you can use a sawhorse and some clamps, and what I used are these braces, and these are actually scrap flag boxes that I had. They're flag boxes that didn't turn out the way I wanted them to, but they work great as angle braces, so I clamped them to the doors. That way they're held up straight and I can do the machining that I need to do. To do this job, you need a power planer. You can get away with a belt sander and a circular saw, but a power planer is the best job for this. And what it does is it removes the material from the edge of the door. This power planer in particular, this is a really old one. It's from the 1950s, but it is a real American-made beast. It will take off 1/4 of an inch without any problems. I really like it. With the power planer, you need to make several passes, and you're going to bring the door down to your finished width. And so here I needed 23 3/4. And remember, we're always going to plane on the hinge side, never on the strike side. I like to use the block plane to place a small bevel on the side of the door that will contact the jamb. And actually, this bevel prevents the corner of the door from contacting the jamb, and it lets the door close a lot easier. It prevents the door from making any noise when it closes, and so I do this with a block plane. It takes just a few minutes, and it'll increase the quality of your work. Now we need to cut the mortises for the hinges. A mortise is any hole that will accept hardware. So this is a funny looking or weird shaped hole where the hinges are going to go. What I did is I transferred the marks over from my existing door slab. Then I traced my hinges. These are 3.5 inch standard interior door hinges, brass in color. And I used a router. And so I traced the hinge and I freehanded it with this router. I've gotten very good with this router, and I was able to cut this out. You can buy special jigs and special clamps that will let you do this without looking, but freehanding it is actually not too difficult. I will say that you need a router to do this. You can do this with a chisel, but it would take you a very long time. You'd have to have a really sharp chisel and be really skilled with the chisel to get it done right. So it's easier just to do this with the router. Now you need to do any work that's necessary to repair the jamb. The reason that this door came off the hinges is that the screws pulled out of the jamb. So what I did is I placed dowels in the holes for the old screws with wood glue, and then I let that dry. The dowels and the wood glue will give me a solid surface that I can drill into and that I can send a screw into. This is a really good trick that you can do anywhere. So if you have a cabinet or anything else around the house that maybe has a stripped hole and the screw or nail won't hold in there, you can put it down there with a little bit of wood glue and it'll give you a brand new surface that you can work with. Now it's time to mount the door and adjust the hinges. Mounting the door could be tricky, but I was able to carefully sink the screws and get the door back on the jamb. The door was striking in the upper right corner, and so what that means is I need to adjust the hinge on the other side. So what I did is I added just a little bit of paperboard. So right here you can see there's just a little bit of paperboard that I'm going to cut off so that you'll never see it once everything's done. And paperboard is the material that cereal boxes are made out of. And this is a professional trick, and this will give me a proper closure and let the door close with just this tiny little adjustment. This is the moment of truth. The door's hung. I'm going to have my assistant test the door. Door closes without any problems. Door opens easily with no issues. Now that that's all done, I can start building the shoe rack that my wife needs. I hope you enjoyed how to install a new door slab. And until next time, this is Mr. Steiner reminding you to always sand with the grain.